Hey, it's Russell Loughlin here, and this is the third video in this on-demand training series about how to use machine learning and AI to put your creativity and your output and the value of your thought work in your education-based business into overdrive, right? We don't have a snappy title for this training series, but we are focused on the topic of machine learning and using generative tools, AI tools like GPT, ChatGPT-3, and Midjourney. And I just want to show you here, like the first few, just to quickly recap, the first video was about the problem and the possibility. The second video is where we demonstrated how to use the tool to write copy, but more specifically, I wanted to demonstrate how to use the tool like a thought calculator, right? And how to actually operate the tool by talking to it like it's an assistant, okay? And that's a really good foundational skill you got to learn, but it's not that hard to do, right? Like you can see if you go back to the video how I use the tool, you can do the same thing, right? Now, there's a lot of people out there who are going to be talking to you about prompts and the value of prompts, like, and that there's some element to that, right? Understanding about, garbage in, garbage out. If you give it good information and if you ask it for a prompt in a specific way, you will get better answers back. But what I want you to start paying attention to is what's really the value here, right? What's really going to lead to the outcomes that you're looking for is having a conversation with it and moving through the thought work as a process, right? That's why we're saying use it like a thought calculator, right? It's not about understanding, hey, I got to know exactly which buttons on the calculator to press. Like that's okay. That's good to know. Or what function do I need to use in Excel? Like that's useful as well. But there's many different ways to get to the outcome. And what you need to understand is your process, right? Putting an ask, getting the information, understanding why there is the output they've given you is not correct and what it needs to be instead, and asking it to go again in another direction. That is really the skill that you need to learn, right? The people who are going to be very good with these tools are going to be the people that can give feedback to the AI, to the bot. Tell it, I don't want this, I want that. Stop doing this, start doing that. And the only way you can do that is to look at the output, understand what you're looking for, and get it to go again. And that brings us perfectly to the key principles from today's video, right? Which is number one, train your AI, right? The first two key principles we talked about here, talk to it like it's an assistant, treat it like a thought calculator. The next step is you have to train your AI. Now, there's multiple ways you can train your AI. I'm going to show you the beginner level that you don't have to be getting advanced into any sort of development back-end stuff. I want to show you how you can just get better outputs from it. And then what we're going to talk about here is I want to go back to using it like a thought calculator. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I'm going to show you how this is not just for copy, right? We're going to show you how you can use it for higher level work, higher value work. And I want you to start thinking that certain types of thinking are worth more than others. And if you see that this tool, if you can channel it into helping you do much more higher value thinking, it's going to have a tremendous impact on your business. So with that, let's kind of dive in here. We're going to switch over and dive back into GPT. So what do we mean about training your AI? Well, for beginners, you need to understand that GPT-3, ChatGPT, GPT-3 is the underlying software that ChatGPT lets you interact with, right? The big innovation with ChatGPT is it lets you talk to it like it's a human, and it understands your requests, and it'll go and do the work, the action that you ask it to undertake. Now, when we're saying train your AI, what we mean is understand that when you ask it for something, there's no guarantee it's going to be right. Right? For the most part, it's chewed up all the internet, and it does a pretty good job of understanding what you're asking for and giving you answers that are kind of close. But for example, with my market, what it thinks the big problems with online education and course creators, online education business owners are, like, they're kind of right, but my market has a subset of those that is very specific, right? It's kind of giving you, these are the general pain points that everyone has. Accurate, I know the things that are really going to resonate with my market, and so I want to focus in on those. So I need to train it on those, okay? So how do you do that? Well, if we switch over here, if we just look at a chat here and we look at this top, this is a chat where I was getting it to help with writing some advertising for my book, right? And my book, Open Every Day, you've probably heard of it if you're watching this video and you're in our email list. Phenomenal book, wrote it years ago, still valid, evergreen message in there around like the pains and problems with launches. Now, I wrote that book after tremendous amount of research in my market and also researching it firsthand being in the market myself. So the pain points in there are very, very, very relevant, right? To the psychology of someone, who's in the position of having to consistently launch and burning out. So I tell it, hey, we're going to write some advertising for my company. I want you to act as a helpful education-based advertiser. We're going to create emails and Facebook ads to promote my book. You're going to help me figure out my key messages, slogans, and other conversion-based content. Okay, that's what I wanted it to do, because I wanted to basically train it on my key messages, slogans, and help it design conversion-based content. But I said, hey, here's how we're going to do this. And it says, sure, I'd be happy to help, right? What are your key messages? Now, this is one of the things I think you're going to get eye-opening, and you're going to see, oh, right? I was like, okay, well, I don't want to have to like tell it my key messages. I wanted to get my key messages for me. So I said, I have a number of sections of my book that I'm going to share with you. We can extract the key messages from that, and then we'll create lots of problem and pain-based content that will be used to attract people. Okay? Again, my process, I know what I need to do to take this this exercise from beginning through a thought calculation process to get to the outcome we're looking for. And I'm saying, let's get the messages in the book, let's extract them, and then let's turn that into pain and problem-based advertising based on the problems and pains we talk about inside in the book. Okay. So here, I just said, here's the copy of my book. Now, you have to give it in 2,000 word chunks. So I'm just going to skip over here. Like you can see, this is a lot of content here. It starts recapping the thing, and then I'm just giving it more and more sections of my book. Now, my book is fairly small. Like it's a 70-page book, 80-page book. So I can get it in here in a number of sections. There's no value in kind of going through all of it here. I'm just going to skip over, but you get the idea. I'm giving it all of the stuff. Okay. Now, yada. You can see once it's got everything, I said, awesome. Please give me a recap of the entire book across multiple sections I shared with you. Once we confirm you have accurately summarized it, we will get down to work creating my marketing campaign. And it gave me a section of the book. And then it got confused and it didn't remember all the sections. So I said, no, give me the whole book. You know that I give you the whole book. Recap the whole book. Okay? In it, I said, hey, you didn't mention anything to do with launches in your recap. Why is that? Now, launches are a big key message in the book. It probably didn't pick up, or it knew that, but it didn't emphasize it. But as soon as I told it, then it started to say, hey, the book discusses how to build and grow a profitable online business through the concept called Open Every Day. The author argues that traditional launch-based business models where all the sales and marketing are focused on a short period of time are inefficient and can lead to burnout. Instead, the author suggests building a system that is open to sales and marketing efforts every day, so there's a consistent flow of qualified leads and customers, which is great, right? It's understanding what we're talking about here. I say dive deeper into the details of problems with launches first, right? Now, I'm just going to skip ahead here. Like I had to correct it in a number of places before it started to get to a point where it was zeroed in and kind of understanding the message and producing it reliably. But I managed to do this in the space of like 3 minutes, right? In about 3 to 5 minutes of uploading, I was able to get this to a place where I would be really happy to have a junior copywriter, right? Where I said, give me an idea, rewrite a passage from this book that's an original piece of content, and let me know, like to demonstrate your understanding of the message. And that's exactly what it did here, right? Like if we look here, here's a short passage. I'm not going to read it out, but it basically gave me a short passage, forgot some information about the program being different to launches and evergreen funnels, and then it nailed it. And I'm like, okay, you now get the message. And I have trained it to understand and summarize my book and to be able to create novel content, new content, by understanding the messages in my book, right? Now, that is a really important distinction that I want you to understand, is that if I asked it what Open Every Day meant, it would have chewed up the internet before and it would have no idea. But I can give it my book, get it to read my book, and then say, based on the messages in this book, we're going to start writing some advertising, right? And you have to like make sure that it understands it, because it mightn't get it initially. And you have to tell it, no, put this message at the forefront. This is more important than that, right? But you can coach it and train it to get it to a point where it's useful. And then now you're in a position where it's very, very efficient to be creating new advertising. Now, this is how you can train the AI. Now, there's many different ways you can train the AI, right? Here's an example of me training it on a campaign structure that I consistently use when I am trying to fill a workshop or a webinar, okay? I said, here's the campaign structure. Help me brainstorm ideas. Now, if I ask it to help me brainstorm ideas for a campaign, right? Like it's probably not going to do a good job producing what I want it to look for, because it doesn't know what I'm looking for. But if I train it on my message, and if I train it on the types of campaigns and tools I'm looking for, it can now help me do exactly the type of thinking and thought work I want it to do. Okay. Now, earlier in this video and in these previous videos, I said use it like a thought calculator, right? And I want to point out there's a big difference between helping me write an email and help me design an email campaign, right? A low-level copywriter can write an email, right? A copy chief and a campaign manager, that's a much more higher value role and position, because they do higher value work. And I would say designing an email campaign effectively is a much higher value point of work, right? So even within the realm of copywriting, you can use this tool to help you do low-level thought work or high-level thought work, right? The big aha I had here as well is you can not only train it on your own philosophies and thoughts, you can train it on other people's philosophies and thoughts. All right, I want to illustrate here something that is huge. I'm a huge proponent of, and how I'm using it at a much higher level than I think anyone else I've seen out there for extremely high-level value thought work. Right, so let's dive into that here, because I think you're going to love it. All right, now here we are in the chat, and we're skipping forward to an area where after I have trained it on my message, I have trained it on my book, and now I'm asking the chat, are you familiar with jobs to be done theory? Now, if you're not familiar with jobs to be done theory, it is at the core of absolutely everything I do. It's a philosophy and a theory of innovation and buyer psychology, customer understanding, that I think just puts you on another level as it relates to being able to create products that people want, that beat the competition, and that creates marketing that really resonates with people at a core level. I got a lot of people complimenting me, saying like, bro, you talk to me on a level like other people don't. And I will tell you this secret and surprises, because I'm talking to you on the jobs to be done level. I don't put that in my messaging, but I'm using a lot of the frameworks to be able to do that, right? Now, the big part that you can use, even within jobs to be done theory, you can use it at a lower level, like creating marketing, or you can use it at a higher level to understand the actual job your market is trying to do, to identify areas that you can innovate and improve your product, right? There are multiple uses for jobs to be done theory. But what I want to show here is that I started the process of basically training the AI on jobs to be done theory, improving its understanding of it, and then training it on the job to be done that my market is looking to get accomplished, right? So if you look here, I'm not going to walk you through the entire process. Like, you can slow down and look at the individual screens here. But basically, I did the exact same process of training it on my message. I did the exact same process on training it on my jobs to be done as I did on training it on its message, right? And the reason it got so exciting for me was because as soon as I started to train it on the understanding of jobs to be done theory and what is necessary to know about your market to operate that theory correctly. And again, what the components aren't important right now, but just understand this is an external authority, an external expert that I follow, that I want to apply their material to my world, right? I basically got their material and said, I want to apply this process to my business to identify areas that I could innovate, improve my product, add more value to my clients, which, if we are talking about the value spectrum, is practically right up at the top. We're talking now at about like $10,000 an hour work. If we can grade work on like $5 an hour work, $10 an hour work, $100 an hour work, at $200, like at $500 an hour work, $1,000 an hour work, and $10,000 an hour work, right? You could categorize work across like items that are much higher value and much lower value. We're talking about improving the value you generate to customers through your product is $10,000 an hour work. And if you look here, if I skip forward, this was like quite a long process, a detailed training. But by the end of it, I asked, okay, so where are we with enhancing your understanding of my target market as seen through a jobs to be done lens? And it said, I have a strong understanding of your target market as seen through a jobs to be done lens. I understand the functional, emotional, and social aspects of the core job to be done, i.e., what is my market trying to do when they're doing that thing, how do they want to feel, and how do they want to be seen, which is a huge, by other people, which is a huge component to understanding your market and actually how to message to them correctly, right? I understand their desired outcomes, the context in which they're trying to operate. I also understand the key players in the industry, the barriers to entry, customer acquisition and retention strategies, and the industry regulations that apply to them. Do you have any further questions? Right? So we trained it up on all of these elements so it can message to people more effectively. And it said, no. I said, is there anything else you'd like to know? And it said, no, I have a good understanding. And then I asked it, awesome. So now that you understand this, what can you help me do? And this was the part that was very exciting, right? Now that I understand, I can do these things for you. I can help you generate ideas for marketing campaigns and products and services tailored to your market's needs. I can help you create messaging and positioning that resonates with your target market. I can help you analyze your target market's behaviors and needs to identify trends and insights. I can help you create customer personas. I can help you identify potential challenges and roadblocks. I can help you identify opportunities to differentiate your offerings from those of your competitors and provide ideas on how to capitalize on those opportunities, right? Now, I'm not saying you need to go and install jobs to be done theory. That's not what I'm illustrating. I'm just illustrating jobs to be done theory as extremely high level thought work that I apply for myself, that I want to do based on training I've done elsewhere, reading I've done elsewhere, etc. And what I want you to illustrate, what I'm illustrating and what I want you to see is I was able to take my book, so it understood my market intimately, and then I was able to take another framework, merge the two of them, and rapidly get to a point where the AI is able to understand how my market fits with this theory. And now it can help me produce ideas. It can help me produce high value ideas to brainstorm at that level. Okay. Again, getting into this and thinking of it like a thought calculator, and you can do calculations at a low level, you can do calculations at a high level, right? You can calculate out the numbers for how many people are clicking on your ads, or you can calculate out the numbers for your bottom line revenue, right? You can use a calculator for both means, but like one is going to be a far higher value number for you to understand if you're trying to grow your business. And I want you to think of it at the same way when it comes to your thought work, right? This is not just going to be a tool to help you get things done faster. It's going to be a tool to help you get it done better. And it's also going to be a tool to help you think and process and operate and do far better high value work, right? That's really what I want you to see here and what I want you to realize. Now, this isn't the only way that you can use these tools, right? Outside of copy, there's other ways we're using it internally here as well. I'm using it to help create project delegation filters, right? So when I'm delegating to my team, I use a tool called the impact filter, and normally it'll take me 10, 15 minutes to create one. Using this, I train it on what a good impact filter looks like, and I can get one done in like 30 seconds, right? I'm using this to be able to help my team members understand large sets of data. So it's like, hey, here's 50 million sales calls. Let's upload them. Let's get them into the tool. And then you're going to be able to research and compress those much, much quicker, okay? In addition to that, we're looking for ways that it can help us run more efficient team meetings. And I'm training all my team members up on how to use this, because if I can get them using it as a thought calculator, they're going to be operating faster and quicker, okay? So again, this is not to overwhelm you and think that, oh my God, I have to do all of these things. I'm just using this as a demonstration to illustrate how you can start thinking about this tool. I'm not expecting you or thinking that you should go and start using it the exact same way that Ross is using it, right? Because those are my thought processes. Those are the applications for the type of thought work I'm going to do. But I want to encourage you. Think about the higher value work that you're doing and how can you use these tools to do quicker, better, faster iterations of those thoughts, right? Particularly in a realm of writing, or if you use any thinking tools. right? From a coach or from another industry that you've been applying them. How can this help you do those things, right? How can you train it on the data in your business? And then how can you point it at these tools to help you get those things done better and faster? All right, that's pretty much it for this video series. I hope you found it enjoyable, engaging, and helpful. Like I said, literally there is nothing to sell here. If you would like some help with your online education business and growing that, I am going to put a link below the video here. You can get a growth game plan where we can help you basically talk about some of the principles I may have mentioned here, apply them to your business to help you make open every day. There's no AI course, marketing course coming at the end of this. But if you see some of these things, you like the way we think, maybe you might be interested in getting our help in growing your online education business. But that's pretty much been it. Hopefully this has been helpful and useful. I am going to release one more supplementary video on the creative process, which I think is going to be very relevant to this, because I'm of the opinion that these tools are going to unlock so much capabilities for people that the number one bottleneck and differentiator between the outcomes you're going to get are going to be your own creative process. And if you can tie these tools into a healthy creative process, it is going to just put it into overdrive. But you need to understand what a healthy creative process looks like first. I'm going to have a quick video on that. It may be interesting to you, it may not be, but I personally think this is going to be one of the biggest leverage points for a lot of people, especially if you're in a lean team where your creative process is very closely tied to the amount of marketing output that you're doing. Okay, so that video will be coming soon. Check it out. Otherwise, spread the word. If you have any questions, hit me up. I would love to help you just nerd out on this stuff or answer any questions you've got specifically about the tools. All right. So it's been Ross O'Loughlin. Thanks for watching. Yeah. We'll catch you soon.